boy. Put your hands back.
No matter where you are, the streets can be a dangerous place. Are you really prepared to defend yourself? Welcome to Nine Dragon Bakwazang for Street Combat. I'm Captain John Painter of the American Rangers. This 6-tape series is not about classical martial art. It's about how to defend yourself in an actual street fight. The techniques you're going to be working with are based upon the methods I've developed in over 20 years of training law enforcement officers in defensive tactics and also as a professional bodyguard.
Bakwazang originated from the Taoists in China hundreds of years ago as an art of self-cultivation and personal self-defense. Now, while no one knows who the original creator of Bakwazang was, historians agree that a man named Dong Hai Chuan first introduced it in Beijing at the imperial court. The art was so powerful that it became the combat method of choice for the imperial guards. Bakwazang, which means 8 diagram palm boxing, is an unusual style of combat based upon the ancient book, the I Ching, or Book of Changes. Today, there are many varying systems and teachers of this art. The Ermei Mountain Nine Dragon style of Bakwazang that I practice was said to have been created by the late Taoist master Li Qingyun, who lived over 100 years in Sichuan province. Master Li taught this system to only family members of his clan for use in their work as wagon masters or bodyguards. I was introduced to this style as a young boy by my instructor, a cousin of Master Li's, over 30 years ago. It is the purest form of the Nine Dragon, and it relies on the development of heightened sensitivity, the applications of circular body principles and internally generated energies, rather than on specific fighting forms or techniques. The Nine Dragon style is a method for creating practical, natural combat skills which can be designated to suit each individual's personal abilities. It is based upon the concepts of defensive tactic strategies, biomechanics, mind-body synthesis, and these syntheses are expressed through the 8 basic palms and 6 basic stances of the art. As you have no doubt gathered, this tape is not about fancy moves or complex demonstration forms. What I will be presenting in this series of tapes is the combat methods and training principles. These are developed from using Nine Dragon Bakwa in my over 20 years of street experience in law enforcement, tactical training as a professional bodyguard. I will help you to learn how to train to develop the unique, natural Bakwazang awareness and combat principles for practical street survival.
In the Nine Dragon Bakwazang system, we utilize the development of what's known as internal energy. The internal energy helps you to remain calm, balanced, and centered when you're in the midst of combat. Many people call internal energy chi, or life force. As a doctor of naturopathic medicine, I've spent a great deal of time researching chi, or internal energy, but I still don't feel like I should try to explain it in Western concepts at this time. So for the purposes of this series, we're going to look at the development of chi from a purely mental, physical standpoint. What we need to do is be able to be still, centered, and poised. To do that, we're going to practice what we call the void stance exercise. This is usually done from the center of a circle. If you don't have a circle to practice in, that's okay. Just learn to stand and relax and be at peace with yourself. This is very important to learn to be calm and well-rooted and well-centered. I'm going to bring in one of my students, Mike, now, that Mike helped demonstrate the basic alignments in standing. This is called the standing or void exercise. What we want to do is have Mike relax his legs a little bit and bend them, bring his head up to here, and then act as though he's lifting from the top of his head here gently. Don't strain anything. The spine will feel like it's lengthening slightly as he picks up from what the Chinese call the Bai Hui point here on the top of the head. The shoulders should stay relaxed and drop down. Don't bring them too far forward. Don't bring them too far back. You don't want to be tense anywhere. The term sung means to let go or release, so you stand naturally like a pine tree growing up towards the heavens. Now in this position, Mike's ears should be balanced so they're directly over the point of his shoulders. The point of his shoulders should be directly over his hips. His hips should be directly over the center of his feet, here. He should not feel pulled forward or backwards. He should relax his gaze, but not close his eyes. He should gaze off into a direction gently without focusing on any one thing, and then just stand very still and very quiet without moving. This will develop root, center, and internal energy. This is the technique of void standing. Practice this about 10 to 15 minutes a day. Work up to 20 or more minutes a day, and you will understand what kind of power this type of simple exercise will develop. One of the things I find so exciting about the 9-Dragon Bakwazang system is that it systematically breaks everything down into pieces so that we can understand the art from the first part, then the second part, the third part, put it all together to make it work for us. What we're going to discuss now is the concept of stances. A stance is the positioning of the body from the waist down. Now, a stance is how we move. For example, in the void stance, we learned earlier for the chi exercise. This is also a martial stance. As a matter of fact, it's usually our basic beginning or fighting stance. We'll explain why later. But we have other stances or positions that the body takes. These stances and positioning help us to deliver force and power, neutralize energy, and push energy forward, lift energy up, and pull energy down. They're not meant to be static positions. They're meant to be ways of delivering and issuing power from the entire body. So to understand that, we issue and deliver power from the legs, up through the hips, and finally into the torso, and then into the palms as we use a stance. I'm going to bring in Matt, one of our students, and we're going to talk about, come on Matt, we're going to talk about the different types of stances and techniques. Now Matt, the first one we're going to look at is the void. I want you to just stand right here. You stand very relaxed, just like we were doing the standing exercise. Just get right in the very middle of the circle there. You'll notice we have 8 gua all the way around you. That's just 8 different positions. A stance like this is a very relaxed position. It's called a neutral position because from this position, you can move in any direction or any place that you want to move. You can go forward, backward, left, right, anywhere you want to move. That's why we call this the void or neutral position. If I push him, he can take a stance real quickly and move around, change his position instantly. So he can always start from this void stance. Now the next one, come back over here with me and we'll work on this. The next one we'll call the dragon stance. From the void, we're going to stand like this, and then we're going to step forward. Let's use our right foot. Just put it heel down, not too far. We don't want a big wide stance here. Just come forward to here with the heel. Drop the heel down and sit down on the back leg. Let the shoulders relax. Turn the shoulder, the right shoulder, if it's the right foot, a little bit forward like so, and keep the head up. Let the shoulders relax, the chest round. Keep the knee always over the toe here, and always keep this knee over this toe. Be very careful to avoid coming in with the knee or going out with the knee. This places a terrible strain on the ligaments and tendons and is not healthy. So keep this toe and knee alignment always in mind. Keep the shoulder just a little bit turned inward so the body is slightly slanted. Make sure that the hip stays under here in the dragon position, not tucked too tightly, and the head up. Anytime you lean the head this way, or tilt the head, or turn the head, you're affecting the entire musculature of the body, and it's going to reduce power. So don't do that. Keep it straight and relaxed, but not stiff. Don't bring the chest up big and large because this will negate the use of your pectoral muscles when you're punching, blocking, and striking. This is called the dragon stance. The next one is called the tiger. And from here, we'll simply go with the movement by pushing forward with the rear leg. That's it. Push forward right here, keeping it nice and relaxed and steady. Again, the toe remains 45 degrees. The body stays relaxed, the head up, the shoulders not too tensed. You don't have to square this up too much. It can be about right here, like this. Again, notice knee-toe alignment, shoulders relaxed, and knee-toe alignment must be right here also, a little bit more out here, not too far out. The one thing you do not want to do is have your foot facing outward at 90 degrees from your other foot this way, because that will allow you to, when you do that, you'll only be using 2 of the 4 muscles in your thigh. You want to use all 4 muscles in your thigh to push or press with. This is called the tiger stance, and it looks like a tiger leaping forward. All right, from this stance, we will go back into the next position, which will be the phoenix stance, which is coming up on one toe and then up on one foot, like so. Now, we don't have to work on balance. We just want to be able to bring the knee up. So this is like a striking stance. Don't lock this knee out. Keep the knee well bent, this in here and centered and relaxed, and then just learn to step down into the dragon stance with this. You come up and step down. This is sometimes used in getting away from someone striking at your foot or hitting at you. So you come up and then down. Okay? You can come up from there, shift down into the dragon, come up again, and then shift down, and then go into a tiger. Very good, all right? From that position, we're going to work on what we call the serpent stance. This is a crossing stance. In this, we will cross one foot over the other, like so. And we relax and put the weight on the back leg, the body facing forward, and the weight is here. Now again, this is just a stance. In actual application, we'll be moving with these rapidly and quickly as we flow, sometimes coming forward, sometimes coming back. It'll all depend on how we use the stance. Very important that we understand how to stand here and just relax and then carry the stance into movement. All right? These are the basic stances we will be using as we move through the 9 Dragon Bakwazang. Many people misunderstand the concept of palm. Some people would like to think it's just like a disembodied hand. Actually, the palm means the entire upper body. This is called a posture. A posture is the position that delivers power or energy. So from the waist up, including the head, shoulders, arm, and the palm or the fist, this is called a posture. The position we take with the posture specifically delivers a certain kind of power or energy. In each application that we might use of the martial art principles of Bakwazang, we use what's known as a posture. And we're going to use that term throughout this whole series instead of using the word palm. So when you hear the word posture, remember that it means palm. Also, we're going to look at this from the standpoint of Chinese philosophy, where we describe the yin and the yang, that is, the positive and the negative energy forces in the movement. So each palm, or posture, in 9 Dragon Bakwazang has what we call a yin and a yang position. Now, the yang position, for example, we're going to show in just a moment, would be an upward moving energy most of the time, and the yin position is a downward moving energy most of the time. There are exceptions to these rules, but we'll cover those as we go along. So if I were to hold a specific position, let us just take, for example, the one we're about to really closely examine, the heaven palm. This would be called a heaven palm twin yang posture, or both hands up. This one would be called heaven palm, but also known as the twin yin posture, because both hands are equal and both hands are in the yin or pressing position. Now, for purposes of martial art, we will often move off like this, and we will drop the hand into what we call a Tai Chi position. That means one hand is in the yin position and one hand is in the yang position. So one is maybe pulling while the other is pressing to get this kind of energy. When the hands are equal, they're called twin. When the hands are separated like so or like so, they are called divided. So this is a divided posture, a twin posture. These are the types of names and explanations we use as we go through this system, and I think you can work with it, try to understand it. Twin and divided. Now, I can do a divided posture like this, which would be a divided twin yin, or a divided posture like this, which would be a divided twin yang. When I go here, now I'm back to what we call the Tai Chi position. This position can shift and is very dynamic as I move. So now we're going to go in and look at the first palm. The first palm or posture, which contains almost all of the principles used in Baguazhang, is called the heaven palm. Now, I mentioned that a moment ago, but let's look at it more in depth and how to develop the use of the palm. When the palm is in this position, remember that it's called the twin yang. When it's in this position, it's the twin yin. When it's in this position, it's divided. And when it's in this position, it's called the Tai Chi. We will work with these first in a standing exercise that will teach us how to incorporate the energy of the legs or our stances into the upper body and then into the hand. This is a stair-step progression in learning. So we take this one thing at a time. What I recommend is that you watch this exercise, then you turn your tape off, you practice it for a while until it feels really nice, and then go on. The first position would be standing somewhere in a very relaxed position, and you will drop the legs down with a little bit of a bend, about 45 to 50 degrees. Be sure to keep the knees over the toes. This is called a static void stance. We're not moving very much. We're going to be moving up and down like this, very straight, up and down. The first thing we will do now is come around here with the palm, drop it down into the yin position. Note the positioning of my fingers and my hands. They're not straight down. They're not cocked tightly. That cuts off the energy. They are in a relaxed position here. As I lift up, I turn the hands over slowly and rise so that the power of my legs and arms coordinate together to lift the hand into this upward position. In the book called the I Ching, the power of the heaven palm is said to be unstoppable. It is very great. It is like a giant dragon that leaps from the earth upwards towards the heavens. So this is the image of the heaven palm. A great deal of the nine-dragon Baguazhang art is based upon the mental image that you put in your mind, almost more so than the physical action. Because in truth, you're going to be able to use the power of the heaven palm, but it will come out of the forearm, the bicep, the shoulder. So wherever someone touches you, there will be power and energy there. So in practicing this exercise, sink down, not too deeply, and rise up and drop down. From the side, I'll show you here, be very careful not to tuck the hips out, but to keep the hips under, everything in line, just like we did earlier with Mike in the standing exercise. Then come to the yin position and sink, and then the yang position and rise. Remember that everything moves as part of everything else. No one part moves independently of another. So don't go up and down like this. Just simply relax, sink down and up. Notice that the palm rises upward and outward at the same time. That's perfectly all right to bring the palm in and come out to here and come back. Or to go almost straight forward as I'm doing here and then down. Or straight out as I'm doing here. What you don't want to do is you don't want to come out so far that you open up the chest. This cuts off the strength of the chest and shoulders. So only come about this far if you're going to come out wide, and about here and keep relaxed. And again, don't tense the chest. Keep everything down and relaxed from here. The second exercise in this series of standing postures is to take a little bit wider stance. From here, we will do the Tai Chi exercise. We'll take the hand, pull it down as though we were going to press something down. The left hand will be at the side. Then as we move, we press off of the left leg, lifting the palm. Turn our attention back to the other side, push the left palm gently down, and rise by pressing with the right leg. Then down again, and rise by pressing with the left leg. Each time we do this, we rise and press. When I turn sideways, I want you to notice that I am not moving in a great angle here. I'm only moving about 45 degrees. So when I move here, this hand comes out almost in line with my toe pointing in this direction, moving here. Now we do this exercise over and over until we can really feel the energy pushing up in a line from here into the hip, into the waist, shoulder, and into the palm. This makes what we call connected power, or Jing. Jing means energy or force. We're going to talk about that a little bit more later. You can also play some games with a student or a friend. And the way to learn how to feel the connection is to work with someone if you have someone to play with. Terry, I'm going to bring Terry out here and show you a little game. Now, Terry, I want you to stand here and hold your arms out. And just don't make them too loose. This is important. Don't have them too loose because you want to be able to feel how to unbalance him. This is not a martial application. This is a game. And if he's nice and stiff, when I push on him, I can feel what we call the frame. That's important. Whenever somebody's actually punching, at one moment before they hit you, their body will tighten up, and that's called a frame. And you can move them, but it happens very quick. In this, have him sort of frame for you so you can understand how to do it. Put your hands here. Use the feet in a dropped or relaxed position. Bring your hand up underneath his elbow from here. Now, touch here. Then feel what it feels like to come up. But as you come up, use the heaven palm moving forward and up like it's moving up to the heavens. And this will frame him backwards. Now, we can do it gently like this. Relax just a little bit more. And we come here, we can come back down. And as I come up, I'll frame into him here and use a little bit of energy. And just a little bit goes a long way if you understand how to use it and you're doing your standing exercise every day. All right, let's look at the Tai Chi position. When we come here, the Tai Chi position will be placing one hand here and one hand on the other side. This hand, as we use the Tai Chi, remember when we were shifting back and forth earlier in the Tai Chi exercise? This hand will pull and press downward. Let's turn around so we can get a better angle here, Terry. And this hand on this side, as I'm pulling down here, will lift up so that there will be a displacement of his energy into his spine and down into his arm. All right, this will allow me to turn him now. We can get right about here. This will allow me to turn him from here to here. So when I'm playing the Tai Chi posture, I can go this way and just deliver force from this leg right into Terry's arm. That will touch his spine and it will unbalance him. Internal arts, especially Bakwa Zhang, attempts to unbalance the person by moving a line of the spine, not by just moving his arm. More about that later. This next palm is known as the earth palm. Where the heaven palm used a great deal of power and energy, this palm is just exactly its opposite. It uses a very soft, twisting power, like the earth spinning to attain balance or equilibrium. It uses a very gentle, torquing motion which comes twisting up out of the feet, into the hip, into the torso, and then into the hand. To begin, we'll use the same type of exercise in all 8 palms. The static posture, then the shifting posture. A little later on the tape, we'll look at walking postures and also circular walking with these same palms. This is the first exercise. Take the hands up, drop them down from here, coil them to the outside like so. And as you come up, coil them up and twisting out as though you were trying to drill your finger directly up into the ceiling. And let's start from the beginning here. 1, 2, stretch. Don't bring the elbow above the shoulder. Just come to here, stretch. Then let it fall naturally, uncoiling and down. Then bring it up. Be sure and coil out and expand the shoulders. Practice this exercise over and over until you can feel this connection of rising and sinking. They coordinate, rising and sinking. Next, practice from here. Sinking down, turning the waist slightly, loading the left leg, and torquing upward with the palm. And then here, turning, torquing. Notice how the leg is pressing upward with the palm each time and is loaded and ready to push up, powering the torso. Excellent. From here, you move in that way. Mike, will you come in here and help me a minute? We're going to look at the same idea we did a minute ago where we had Terry framing. So we're like this. Let Mike sit here. Now, instead of trying to pop him up and back like we did earlier with the heaven palm, this one gently deflects him from here or from here. It gently deflects him upward like so. It can gently deflect him downward like so. This is the way this palm moves. Twin, see? Twin, Tai Chi, various movements of this type. To get the idea on how to move his center or his spine, practice this first on the outside, bring it in and press his arms in like so. There's an upward-outward action. Then practice bringing it to the inside. See how you can push with a little bit of an angle here, like that. Next, practice it from here. This one's coiling up, this one coiling down. Now when I do this, I'm going to make a little bit of a press with the left leg, upward, and that's going to turn him so that Mike will go off in that direction, like so. The downward action and the upward action work synergistically to make him move. And my projection of my energy upward, outward, and around is what helps to coil him up and around like this. But it's very subtle, very gentle. It's not super hard and powerful like the heaven palm was. This is the method we call the earth palm. Now let's take some time and examine the next posture, which is the fire posture. The fire posture holds the hand in this position, or palm. It bursts upward, almost like an explosion from a cannon shooting up like a mortar shell. The energy here is very strong, very powerful, uplifting power. But again, it comes out of the legs, not just the arm, not just the shoulders. The body has to stay relaxed. We're going to review now the exercise called the standing exercise. We're going to stand from here, and as we drop the weight down, we'll make the yin version of the fire palm, which is just curling the hands down to here in this position. From here, the palms lift up, aided by the legs and the uplifting of the back. Be sure not to raise the shoulders up like this. This will disconnect the arm from the body, and you will not be able to transfer power. So drop the arm down, lift and press. Then let it roll down and sink. Bring the arm up, lift and press. Bring the hands down. Up, sink. Practice this exercise over and over until you can feel a connection between the lifting and the energy here in your spine and the uplifting action of your palm. Be sure not to stick the hip out in the back or drop the abdomen down. Also, don't tense the body up. Stay very natural and very relaxed. But visualize, as in the I Ching, the concept of fire, which clings or bursts upward. Visualize the idea of your energy bursting upward like an exploding shell. Visualize it almost in slow motion when you do it in slow motion. When you do it fast, visualize it fast. Attach the visualization to the physical action. This will empower your body to use mind and body energy together. First exercise is the standing static posture. The second one will be here, lifting with one, pressing with the other. This is the Tai Chi posture. Again, the legs are involved in the upward pressing here. Notice the thigh pressing upward. Be sure not to turn too far so that you find a binding in the leg. Only about 45 degrees. A nice upward energy. The energy of the fire palm is still upward, but it's different from the heaven palm, which is upward and slanting outward. Fire palm is almost straight up like an uppercut. All right? Let's use Matt for a moment and demonstrate how the exercise works when we play our little game so we understand connection. Just put your palms here, Matt, like this. Now, with the heaven and the other palms, we noticed that you kind of went back at an angle when we worked with each other. From here, when I use fire, I'll lock underneath his elbows. He's a little bit framed out, and then I'll be pulsing upward, and you'll see kind of an upward action to his body. So when I use this, I can throw him up and back slightly with this palm. The palm can also be used to the side as well as to the front. In the yin action, when I drop the palm down, this can drop his weight downward very rapidly. If I change it, so I use the yin here and the yang over here, the yin will pull, just as we've done in the other palms, and the yang will lift almost straight up. Let me turn you around here a second, Matt. And we'll see the yin. Now we can see where the yang will come here, and it will be powered by the left leg attaching and pulling. See? So this palm will then be shooting upward here. This could break someone's elbow if they're grabbing you or something, but we won't worry about that right now. All right, from here, when I use this palm this way, I'll be shifting the weight and loading the leg and coming off of it. So if I practice this with a friend, don't do it hard and fast. Do it very slow so you feel the connection. Feel the connection. And then practice a little bit faster here, like so. Okay? Let's do that just once more. From here, do it slowly at first. Feel the connection. Now you have to pull downward towards you and lift upward at the same time. Notice how that unbalances him? Okay, so from here, this way. Like so. All right? That's the fire palm. That's how we're going to use it. A little bit later, we'll look at how we walk with it and how we move around the circle. This next palm is very nice in terms of flow. It's called the water palm. In the water palm, the I Ching says that the energy flows up and down just like a wave. The wave is flowing from one direction and then the next, sometimes like an undertow, sometimes like a very large wave lifting up and overpowering whatever it touches. In the water palm exercise, we hold the hand in this direction as it comes all the way up and circles out, like so. Be sure not to bring the elbow much higher than the shoulder in this position. Normally we'd push forward a little bit more and leave it just about shoulder height. If you do it like this, you'll want to do it as a stretch, but you won't want to use that as an application. In the water palm form, we'll drop the hand down, flowing. Now look at this from the side. In the fire palm, it dropped. In this one, it flows. So as it flows up and down, we use it in the exercise like this. Dropping the weight and flowing, lifting, and flowing. Just get the connection between the legs, the hips, the waist, and the arms, all as one thing. Using it here, down and up, down and up, down and up. This is shifting the balance. See, coming into a tiger stance and up, down and up. I want to mention that you can practice all of these palms in the various stances. I'm simply illustrating them here in these so we can see how to get the connection. Down and up, down and up. It's important that we get this connection. If we don't get the connection, then just simply walking in a circle, as most Bagua people will do, or walking in a linear fashion, or fighting, if there's no connection between the body and the palm, then there's no power. If there's no power, the art is not effective for fighting. Let's look at the application of this. Terry, will you help me, please? Okay, if we put Terry here, again, we'll put him in this framing position like this. The water palm is up and out. Now, if I simply try to lift him by doing this and pressing up with my shoulders, it's very hard. Golly. It's hard to do because this guy's heavy. Okay? So, if I use the legs coming up like this, then I roll the arms underneath him. You see how it starts to lift them? And the legs are doing this lift. So in practicing, I just lift coming up. That lift gives me a nice upward rolling action. Now, should his hands be a little more loose, then it'll lift him way up. You can come down and do all sorts of controlling applications to him. Here again, let me remind you, we're only showing this as a practice, not as a martial technique. Obviously, you're not going to do this when somebody attacks you all the time. Let's look at the Tai Chi application. One up, one down. Again, this arm is used flowing downward like water towards the side of the waist or the crease in the hip, which is called the gua, flowing down here. The other hand will be used on the other side. We'll turn around so you can see that. This one's coming down. This one will be flowing up this way. Now the energy will be curving from my leg upward into his body like so. So when we do this, right about here, like this. Okay, this one comes down. This one will then flow up, like so. And this will be the end of the posture, somewhere in here. Okay? That's the way the water palm will work. Play with a friend and do this. I want to say this again, and I'll say it throughout the tape. Don't force it. Don't use hard energy. Just relax and feel. Feel where his energy begins to break, and then add your energy. Don't try to fight against his force. Never, never do that. This next palm is called the wind palm. Wind flows and penetrates. It's a great deal like an axe in that it chops. So this is our chopping palm. The chopping palm flows in from the outside most of the time. It also flows to the outside in an upward position. This is what we would call the yin version of the palm, and this is the yang version of the palm. Now, various schools of Bakwa will close the finger, open the finger, close this, or vice versa. It all depends on what kind of energy you want, and that comes with the concept of Qigong, which we're not discussing here. So what we want to do is throw energy into this part of the hand, right here. We're throwing energy from the leg into this part of the hand. The yin position is up, like so. Up, like so. The yang position is down, almost like a whip cracking. So we'll be throwing this. Now, in doing this, we've been, up until now, going down and everything coming up. Going down and everything coming up. In this palm, we're going to reverse that. In the yin position, the palm is going to rise. The posture will rise. The body will sink. And then the body will rise while the palm drops. Here and here, like so. This allows us to load energy and then discharge the energy from the whole body into the palm. From the whole body into the palm, like so. This is called discharging the energy from the leg, through the hip, through the waist and shoulder. The exercise for static position looks like this. Body sinks down, yin palm rises, body comes up, yang palm moves down. Body moves up, here, and then down, here. Palm down. Down, up with the palm, down with the palm, up with the body, like so. Up with the palm, down with the body, up, and then down. Alternate. The alternation really allows you to throw a lot of energy. In using the opposite technique here now, one goes up while the other goes down, like so. Here and here. Very gently curving. Notice the leg throwing the hand from here to here. Do it very slowly and very smoothly so you can feel it happening. This is the basic exercise. For practice with a friend, Mike, what we'll do is have Mike come here and we'll look at what's going to happen. This is sort of a loading action when I drop down. Bring the palms up to load, like so. In reality, this could be an upward block to move underneath his arm, like this. This one is the chopping action here, which can chop down here, 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 so on. So the upward action is loading and then chopping, like so. Loading, chopping, like this. It's a downward pushing action with the hand coming to the inside. It can be done to the inside, here, or to the outside here. So we can take him downward to the ground. If I drop my whole body, take him down like this. Each time I do it, I can move here and lift and chop. This time I'm going to chop to this side and lift with this side. When I do this, it carries him like this. Okay? And here, I feel his energy turning as I chop and move. Okay? This is the way we use this wind palm action. We'll see a lot more of that as we move on into the tape. This next palm is called thunder palm. In the I Ching, thunder is an energy that rises up out of the ground and vibrates everything, sort of like an earthquake. The palm moves outward and pulses energy. So this is a good one for learning what the Chinese call Fa Jing, or pulsed energy. As a matter of fact, all movements in Baguazhang, Nine Dragon style, use a kind of impulsed energy or entrained energy that flows up through the legs, hips, and body. It's so important that you practice each of these things slowly and carefully to find that I keep wanting to repeat it over and over and let you remember. Always put everything in it from the ground up, but in a relaxed way. Thunder palm looks as though you were holding a very round ball. Now this is the twin yang position in thunder palm. If I close it or change it, this would be a divided position like so, or put it together. This is the twin yang position. This is the twin yin position. It's just simply turned over to here, like this. The Tai Chi position looks like this from here. This is the Tai Chi position, on either side, of course. To practice the exercise, we stand again in the void stance. So we're going to go up and down with the legs flexing. We move down and press into the yin, up into the yang. Down into the yin, up into the yang. Down into the yin, up into the yang. Now note that my arms are not only moving in and out, but they're also expanding slightly forward, sort of like dropping a rock into a pond, and the ripples go out in every direction. So actually, when we use this palm, there's force being emitted from the shoulders, elbows, even from the back. So if somebody were to grab you from the back, they'd be thrown backwards by the force being emitted. So from here, we'll look at it this way, down and out. Notice that it's expanding forward and to the side at the same time, like so. Keep the hands relaxed, very gentle. This is the void posture with thunder palm. To practice the Tai Chi version and the shifting stance from dragon to tiger, we go here. 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, just like so. Flowing gently and smoothly, getting the connection between this hand, which is powered by the waist turn, and this hand, which is powered by the leg. 2, 3. Remember to keep the hip tucked gently under, the head up, not down. Let's look at this with Terry helping us a little bit on the application concept. This is simply learning how to get the kinetics or body energy correct in using the thunder palm. This palm moving in can close his arms in. The palm moving out can expand his arms outward. The palm moving forward can strike his body here. The palm moving in can strike his body here. If he's framed in this way, then my inward moving palm here will press him backwards. If he is framed here, my outward moving palm this way will shock him backwards, like so, still moving outward. To use the Tai Chi version, this palm can come up under here and press outward, while this palm presses inward. Now note, I'm using the forearm here, not the back of the hand. That is because in this art, any part of the body can be used to express the energy. So we move from here this way. We turn him off. Let's try that again. Okay? We'll look at it from this direction. When I come here, notice that I'm going to use this energy inside for the yin and this energy outside for the yang. Here. Press him like so. You can practice this in various methods and various ways. It doesn't really matter how you practice it As long as you understand that the legs push the energy, that's really important. I could be pushing him with the yin version going this way and the yang version coming inside, like so, and shove him to the back. Any of those types of methods would work. This is the concept of the thunder palm and the exercises that you can use to develop the connection. This will be the lake posture. The lake in the I Ching is a smooth, glassy surface that has a tremendous depth. This depth, the emotional energy in this depth is very great. The energy is one of being joyous, but also one that can be very frightening to someone who doesn't understand how to swim well in a lake. So the image that you want in the lake is of a beautiful surface that contains a great power, and a bird flies down across the lake like it's looking for a fish to pluck out of the water. This bird flies down. So this is the lake palm yang, with this hand here cutting almost like a blade all the way around this part of the arm from here, this way. The yin version turns over, and the finger here can hook like this. So it can hook and come back, and then turn over and back. And when you're making this action, make sure when you get to here that you just don't turn the hand over and come back. Come this way, roll the hand over and up, and then pull it back, and then roll it back and push it forward. This allows you to have a cutting surface, like so, and then a pulling surface that's on an oval or an ellipse. This oval or ellipse allows you to make the movement quickly without having a dead spot, like this. This is a dead spot. Move here, move here. You don't want a dead spot. You want a continuous flowing action, like this. This is the way the lake palm looks. Now we're going to look at the twin yang exercise first. This action from here, hooking, pressing inward. Really roll the chest here. Bring the fingers close. Then out, back. Sink, lift, and slice. Sink, lift, and slice. Sink, lift, and slice, like this. Do this over and over again until it feels so easy just to move gently like this. And do it naturally. Don't do it stiff and tight. Just relax. Just relax. Be very at peace with yourself. Makes you feel really good to do this too. Very good for your health. From here, this is going to be the Tai Chi palm. So it would look like this. One up and one down. Press and cut. Press here and cut. Press and cut. Press and cut. Lift and cut. Lift and cut. Now notice that my hands are turning throughout the whole motion, and I'm not always just turning the hands over and going back and forth, but I'm also trying to turn the hands as I move through the action, so I get what was known as a silk reeling kind of action. So the hands are always turning just a little bit as I move, like so. This exercise should be practiced many times. A variation of it is called rolling the ball, which is here. This way, rolling the ball. So one rolls over the other, like this. And you can make it large or small. And this will be explained why and how these things are used a little bit later. Let's take a look at this with Matt, okay, in terms of the lake thing. Now, in the lake, the first action can be hooking like this. So when he's here, we can use the lake to here in this position. So if I hook him, this can draw him in towards me. And then if I push him, then this pushes him back out again. So that will unbalance him like this easily. So as he comes in and touches me, see, can cut like this. From here, we'll take the lake, catch it, and use the Tai Chi version. I'm going to catch and pull. Now notice instead of pulling him down and back like I've been doing in most of the exercises, watch what his hand does from here. See how it pulls it? It's going to bring it around me in a circle. That's going to make it easier for this cutting action of my whole arm to turn him. All right, let's look over on this side. We can see where I hook here with this to pull and disengage, and this one coming in rolling helps to push him. So let's play it like that, and I want you to just, like you're standing there, kind of a frame so I can feel you. I can feel what I do to your energy here and here. So I move it like this. There, from here. That should be one relatively smooth movement, which can hook up here and go this way, like so. This is the lake position, Tai Chi, working like so. Let's take a look now at the mountain palm. This mountain palm, in the I Ching, the mountain symbolizes a very great energy, an energy that is really strong, but also very still, very quiet. It's a meditative energy. When you stand, you should stand like a mountain. When you sit, you should sit like a mountain. Stand and relax and sit and relax, but be as solid as a mountain. Now, solid does not mean stiff. We don't want to be stiff. We want to be loose. Let the body be really loose. In mountain palm, we bring the hands down like so, and then open them up like this. This is like the base of the mountain. This is the yin position for the twin posture. The yang position lifts up about chest high, rolls over, and presses out. It's as though you were emitting energy from this part of your hand and this part of your hand, almost like you were streaming your consciousness out. Let me point out, don't try to do that consciously. Just let it happen, especially when you're doing your exercises. Don't force the energy. Just stand, do the exercises very slowly, and just let it feel as though something is streaming out of your hands towards the corners of the room. So the palm posture looks like this in the yang position, and like this in the yin position. You can also press it to the side from here in the yang position and to the side in the yin position. To do the exercise, place your feet again in the void stance, not a deep horse, just relax. Bring the hands up, drop down, expand. Feel your body like the base of a mountain. Then reach up and press the peak. Then down, open, reach up and press the peak. Down, open, reach up and press the peak. Each time feeling that energy flow up. In the Tai Chi posture, we look like this, pushing in that direction, pushing. So we move in the Tai Chi exercise, 1, 2, 3, like so. Practice these two exercises until you can feel the connection. Again, I'll point out, it's a good idea to learn this by taking each individual section and repeating it over and over many times before you go on. And you also understand that when I say Tai Chi, I'm not talking about Tai Chi Chuan, which is another type of martial art. I'm talking about the position of the yin and the yang palm. That makes a Tai Chi, which is the circle divided in half in the middle with the S-curved line. One hard yang, one yin, like so. Now let's bring in Mike here, take a look at this with our partner training. He puts his hands here. We're looking at the palm, the mountain palm. It can come here as I go down. This can pull his arms down. It can sweep the arm down like so and out, and on both sides. It can also press upward this way into his root. Now notice when this presses up that my arm is intersecting his, and this push actually starts right about here or here. So I can do the mountain palm push from here. The hands are facing in as they come up, and they torque out to push him, like so. I can even do it from the outside just using the forearm. When it comes here, in. This is the mountain palm press or push. To use the Tai Chi version, it can come down here, pressing down. This palm will now come up and press his shoulder in this position. Let's turn around so we can see that. Come and push down. This one will come up and push your shoulder with the energy coming out of this leg. That's how we be pushing you. So we'll come down from here, up from here. Like so. Gentle, smooth push, but the heart and the mind must stay still like a mountain. Gentle, quiet. So practice these exercises, play with a friend. Again, do it very gently, very calm, and very peacefully. Don't try to muscle it. Don't try to force it. Don't try to do it fast. In the beginning, do it very slow. If you do it slow, then you're going to know more about it. You're going to understand exactly where you have to tie the leg into the hip, shoulders, and hand. That's really important if you want to understand internal concept, especially in the Nine Dragon system.
Thank you for being with me. We've taken the first step on the road to developing the Nine Dragon Street Combat Methods. In Volume 2, we will begin building on this material with the famous Bakwazang circle walking exercises and combat push hand games. I hope you will join me for our next course in Nine Dragon Bakwazang Street Combat Sessions. Until then, this is Captain Painter of the American Rangers saying thank you for being with me.